Joker is a pretty good character. I mean, it's the character MKLeo was piloting for a good while to win every single tournament in existence.
Oh!
So I was wondering, how would I do if I entered a tournament as Joker without any real practice? No labbing, no Elite Smash grinding, just show up and play. So I hopped on down to my local and entered the tournament. My first opponent was Panders, and funnily enough, I had actually been playing friendlies with him before the tournament started, so I kinda had a feel for how I was playing already. The first stock was pretty standard, but I do want to point out the sexy pivot grab I got after dashing under him. Before closing out the stock a bit later with a backer. One of Joker's most reliable bread and butter combos is down throw forward air dash attack. While it doesn't deal an insane amount of damage, it pretty much always works and carries your opponent all the way off stage from mid stage. Joker's gun is pretty good at edgeguarding low recoveries, but Panders side beat me out of the hit stun, and I actually end up dying here because I fall out of the side B. I had the read on neutral get up with an F smash, but barely mistime it. I do end up closing out the match afterwards with an edgeguard after fading covering a high recovery. Game 2 takes us to Kalos. We started off pretty even, dealing damage back and forth until I was able to barely secure a backer before losing Arsene. Not finding a kill against Joker can be pretty devastating as you suddenly have to deal with Arsene multiple times per stock. Normally Joker can't really reach the position Panders was drifting to, but a well-positioned Egon caught him off guard. And I followed up that play by running directly into a down smash and dying for it. Panders could have actually punished my forward air here if it was just a little bit faster, but since it was a little too slow, I take the set with down smash. Next up, I was facing High GPS, a Ken main, and also the guy who recorded all these replays for me, so shoutouts to him. The first game started off pretty well, up until the point where I get possibly one of the worst trades possible and lose my first stock. And while High GPS was at high percent, I just couldn't close out the stock and got absolutely slammed at 58%. My luck was about to change though, as I fell out of a shuriken and was handed his stock on a silver platter. Being an entire stock behind isn't a good look, but Joker has Arsene, one of the best combat mechanics in the entire game, so I wasn't too worried. I managed to get him to high percent again, but I flopped my kill confirm. Because High GPS teched in place, I was able to clean it up and secure the stock anyway. And with one more Arsene, it was go time. Oh, it didn't kill. This time though. Okay, this time for sure. I ended up just walling him out with back airs and forward tilts until he tried to jump over me and I anti-aired him with an up tilt. Game 2 started off with a pretty clean lead, and while having Ken off stage, I remembered, wait a second, I have a counter. After throwing High GPS off the stage, he immediately used his double jump, which made it pretty easy for me to cover his recovery with a back air. And while it was looking like I might be able to pull out a 3 stock, it just wasn't meant to be. I ended up taking enough damage to get another Arsene and spam back here off stage to close out the game. There's a reason people always mention back air when discussing Arsene. Not only does it send you ridiculously far, but it's also an incredibly spammable move. I lost my first stock because I dropped my combo and got punished for it. I was really struggling to close out stocks this game, but luckily, as always, back air comes through. I did hit a kill confirm, but because Ken was at such a high percentage, he was able to tech my drag down up air. Now, a lot of people would probably blame their character here, but I realized that I could have just back aired here instead of doing a drag down up air. Luckily, at percents as high as this, even Joker has kill throws at center stage. My next opponent was fellow content creator Whoophee, currently ranked number 15 in Norway and a Pokemon trainer main who has been using more Wolf as of recently. Unfortunately, I forgot to save the replay for game 1, so I went ahead and made an artistic recreation of it.
Are set!
Looking cool, Joker!
Moving on. The second game was looking pretty promising. I took barely any damage and Whoophee messed up his recovery. And then, oh, when Joker has Arsene, his recovery is pretty easy to 2-frame. And Wolf's down smash is pretty good at 2-framing. The second stock, I get hit by a solid backer, but some sus DI on my back throw sends Whoophee right into the blast zone. The game was progressing pretty normally, and then it happened again, killing me at 68% without any charge, handing me my first loss of the tournament. The funny thing is, Wolf down smash has actually been nerfed a total of 3 times, and it's still one of the scariest 2-frames in the entire game. I wasn't too worried heading into game 3, as I figured as long as I played around the down smash 2-frames, I'd be good. And after taking Whoophee's first stock, he really struggled to close out mine, taking more than 100% before securing it. And while I also struggled to close out his stock, a tricky upper was what was needed. Immediately after losing his second stock, Whoophee got blown the fuck up. After such an explosive end to a game, you can't help but feel the momentum going into the next game. I went for the same forward smash read on neutral getup I had gone for earlier in the tournament, and this time I timed it correctly. And after a botched edgeguard attempt that ended up scaring Whoophe enough to mess up his recovery, he was starting to show signs of life. Even though it was starting to look like a potential 3-stock, a back throw would seal my first stock. And despite my best efforts to avoid it, another down smash would slice through my second. Whoophee was really bringing it back, but unfortunately for him, all I needed was one hit. So fighting Alex Turg was gonna be pretty scary. Not only is he currently ranked number 10 in Norway, but at Smashburg Winter Seasonal he beat Feifre, the best joker in all of Scandinavia. So this was gonna be a hard match. Despite that, the first stock went really well. I only took 38% and didn't even need Arsene. I did end up getting Arsene when he was on his second stock and got a lot of damage as a result. But couldn't quite close out the stock before he hit me with a forwarder out of the corner. I struck back pretty quickly, but after that I got kinda stuck on ledge. And we were back to an even match. While game 1 was close, I managed to bait him into going for a dash grab and punished with the classic fair 1 up air drag down up smash combo to close it out. Game 2 also started off pretty even, but some town and city shenanigans helped me close out the first stock relatively early. And after a bit of scrapping back and forth, all I needed was a simple backer. I capitalized off a slightly misspaced recovery on Alex Turg's side to close out the game. So I forgot to save the replay for game 3 as well. And you know what that means?
Checkmate!
I lost game 3 and moved on to game 4. Even though I managed to get a solid lead, I couldn't quite manage to close out the stock and lost my own first stock pretty early. Before striking back with a back air. Luckily for me, Robin's recovery is pretty exploitable, especially if you can make Robin run out of charges on her up B. I was trying to wall out Robin with my backers at ledge, and then Alex Torg rolled in from ledge, perfectly setting himself up for me to do an up tilt to close out the set. In Losers Finals, Alex Torg had to fight Pyram, the current number 8 in Norway. But in the end, Alex Torg won, and I had to face him again in Grands. The set started out at a fast pace, and only after 30 seconds, Alex Torg's first stock dropped to a down throw backer with what I can only describe as disastrous DI. Immediately followed up by an SD. And with such a big lead, there wasn't really much Alex Torg could do, as he whittled down his last stock and closed it with a backer. Alex Torg in the air up above me, I paid close attention to his air drift, knowing he was afraid of getting hit. I cover his landing with a forward smash and take his stock. While pressuring Alex Torg on the side platform of Tana City, I lose my stock due to some poor spacing on my side. I land a near forwarder combo that looks like it'll win me the game, but doesn't. Eager to close out the game, I go off stage to edgeguard pretty deep and get reversaled. I think it would have been cool if it hit though. I bait out an auto shield option in the corner and punish it with an up smash to win game 2. For the first stock, I bait out an air dodge with movement and chase Robin down with an Arsene boosted up air. The Town and City side platform once again comes through for me, letting me net another early kill. Alex Torg did manage to make it a close fight, but in the end another forward smash to stuff out his area from ledge made me the winner of the tournament, proving to myself that I could win a tournament with Joker.